Welcome in another episode of Critics Collective, and I am smacking my lips at today's episode. I don't know why I did that smack at the beginning, but it is what it is. For this episode, we're going to do Black Mirror Season 7, Episode 1, Common People. And I don't want to be rude, but we're here with Mayte, and I'm the Dad Panther. And this is another video for Critics Collective. Now, before we get into the highs and lows, our first impressions, and even the moment, the highlight, whether good or bad, that happened on this episode, I just want to say we're gonna spoil this thing. So if you haven't seen episode 1 of the 7th season of the new season of Black Mirror on Netflix, turn away and come back later. While you're thinking about should you stay or go, I just want to invite you to check us out for 3 minutes. That's it, just 3 minutes. Let us know in the comments what you think and what would you like to see this channel bring in entertainment, film, and everything in between. Now, with that being said, Mayte, for this episode and kind of with the whole series, what was your expectations?
Honestly, I mean, because it's Black Mirror, I always have high expectations, but also, like, you kind of got to take it with what you're going to get because not every single episode is going to be a hit. Like, you're going to get a few that are like, okay, these are okay. So, like, I feel like it's season 7, so you kind of already had 6 seasons to have an idea what to expect. So, I was hoping it would, continue on that, pace.
Okay, same thing with me. It was like after the first season, and the first season didn't have all bangers, but that's kind of what this show is. You can watch it in any order that you want, whenever you want, and it just kind of has a flow. And there's some episodes that just hit harder than others. And so for this one, my expectation was, especially with everything that's going on in the world, everything, I was like, they're gonna hit at a whole nother level. And some of these past episodes, it's too soon to see the future, but it seems like it's nudging in certain directions, like White Bear or the episode with the Amazon drones fighting over the teddy bear. Like there's just certain episodes where it felt like they were hinting at something, and then it happened. So for this episode, Common People, what IMDb says about this is when a medical emergency leaves a school teacher, Amanda, fighting for her life, her desperate husband, Mike, signs her up for Rivermind, a high-tech system that will keep her alive. Is that a fair description
Yeah,
of that episode?
yeah,
Okay.
very fair.
Now this episode was more of a drama, not really a thriller, but still stayed in the sci-fi realm. And basically what happens is Amanda is talking about in one episode about bees, like micro fake bees, drones or something, which is a nod, an Easter egg to previous seasons where they've done that same bee in the Black Museum and a few others. And she gets in a situation medically where she needs to go ahead and have um, something that I guess we can all relate to, where a loved one needs medical treatment that is experimental. Now, mind you, in a way, she's already passed on. Like she's brain dead, and they're like, hey, this happened, and she's gone. But wait, there's more. We have this for you that can do this. And so from this episode, it just becomes this thing of when you take this experimental drug, what's happening to these two people, and not just that, for everybody else that's involved. So my thing on this episode, what were the highs and lows that you had for Common People?
So I did really like this episode. So let's start with, so I had more highs and lows. So let's start there. Um, I really did like the reality of it because, like you said, the experimental drugs and, your loved one, you're going to want to do whatever you can to make sure they're okay. Um, Now, let me go straight to the low from that. I would say the low, it's also a high and a low because it pissed me off because it's so real. Because it was that like needing this, the experimental drug to live, but also like how everything has a ad now. So it's like, oh, you want like it pissed me off. Um, was it Tracee Ellis?
Yes,
Wrong.
yes, I
She
love
did
her. She's
so
gorgeous,
good.
but she
She did so good in her acting that it pissed me off because she's like, "Hey, you want this? It's extra." And then when she was like, "Oh yeah, it's this," I thought it was gonna be the price, but it was on top of what they were paying already, and
That's
I was
the
like,
shit that
"Oh."
got me. Like, let me again, let us know in the comments what you felt about this episode. But what Mayte saying is like they were like, hey, you're already paying 1,000, and for $800 more, you could do this. And you're like, you know what, 1,000, I just got to bump up to, and then they're like, no, it's 1,800, and you're
And then,
like,
but with premium, they're like,
but
"Oh no, that's your standard now."
it's standard.
That was
But
premium.
yeah. Oh, had me looking at my Spotify. I'm just saying.
And then, like like the things that I liked, it also pissed me off too because it was like another thing and another thing and another thing. They were like taking her own energy. It's like, and then she couldn't even sleep peacefully either. It was just everything. It was just like, and then I feel like a lot of, I'm on social media, so I see a lot of people's takes on it too.
Hmm.
And every time I saw somebody's take, I was like, that's so true. They're like, um, when family members are going through experimental drugs, it affects the whole household. Like, having to meet um, the financial aspect, but
Hmm.
then the emotional aspect. It's stressful and how it affects the day to day life. The day to day life. And then they're like, "Oh, you want to get pregnant? That's extra." I was like, I mean, it would make sense why it's extra because they're taking from her body.
Hmm.
And then what really pissed me off when they did the Rivermind Lux and they're like, "Oh, you can take skills from other people." I was like, "What?"
That's what
That
I
was
thought was
crazy.
wild when they were like at some point they're like you could be the best tennis player ever. Dude, I'm like,
It
but
just
I
took away the value of like being a
individuality.
human. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. It took away of like having, natural born talent people, it's like it ruined the whole aspect of it. It's like, oh, you can just be the best tennis player for like a few minutes, so you have to pay. I don't know. It pissed me off, but also was like, I think with Black Mirror, if the episode pissed me off, it did a good job. If I don't feel anything, then it's like, it's bland to me.
Hmm.
So I really liked it. It pissed me off. So it did what it needed to do. And then in the end, like, I wish we had a happy ending where they like, I don't know, broke into Rivermind and, realized they were doing some even darker thing and then, maybe had a better ending than her just like dying.
The way
Anyways,
I look at it for what you're saying, I'll go into my like highs and lows. So like my lows for it, I would say towards the end her dying. So like how it works
yeah.
on this and just how I picked it up was she takes serenity, so she gets a little boost for just a little bit and she's like everything looks peaceful and everything looks nice and serene and she's like now is the time now. And she's I don't I okay, I just it's gonna sound bad, I would have shot her ass right then and there. I don't I'm just keeping it real. Like I don't understand it. Like I've literally, some people will give up a right arm for the person they love, and this guy is given body parts and done things he shouldn't be doing, all for the sake of getting paid. Like you think only fans, only freaks, good and bad, and we ain't talking about something sexy. And he's doing all this to provide for her on top of working, and you only got a little bit money, and she's in the best mental spot that she's at. I would have done it right then and there, man. And then you
He
wait
should
for her to
have.
come back, and then she's giving you a fucking ad as you're smothering her, like an episode of like not even an episode, but it was like Kohl's. Thank you for coming to Kohl's and get that Kohl cash. And when you do that, get a box 6 feet under here only at Kohl's. And he's sitting there like just trying to. No, I'd have had tears in my eyes, just like
Yeah.
so. So I would say that to me is one of the biggest lows of how it is. It's like they just almost stuck the landing and made it this epic episode that would bring in, but it did make that conversational piece. And the good stuff from it was the casting. Even though I'm worried that the rest of the season is going to be US big stars. And the reason why I say I'm not kind of cool with that, I guess, is because the other seasons, they were big stars too, but from other countries, mostly the UK and that area, if I'm correct. And I it sounds stupid, but I was more immersed into it because I'm like, okay, I kind of know that person, but I can just focus on the story. This, I'm like, I know that person, I know that person, I know that person. And it took a little bit to kind of get into the character and the world that they placed me in. But the other good thing, I thought they made it seem like a drug. Once she got that first hit of that premium, and she turned, and it also was, I felt like a little bit of dude in here. Like, he gets the chance for pleasure. And he's like, yeah, go ahead, put pleasure. Now, I'm a dude. I would crank that bitch up because I'm thinking about me. I'm gonna get some me. So I'm like, yeah, take that shit up to the top. And you see how bad it was because she was saying, hey, just to anybody, I like your car. And I was like, oh, this could be bad. The other thing that I thought was bad, again, maybe me as a guy, didn't this guy 2 times during a sexual encounter couldn't just focus on just getting some? Like, she's sitting there on top, making noises that would have been when Harry met Sally type of shit. And instead of him just living in the moment, you paid for this. You paid for this experience. Let her be happy. You about to get yours. And he's sitting there talking about the first time he was like, you're being too loud. I want the neighbors to hear my name. I want you to, they know
It was
my
their
name.
anniversary too.
Yeah. So let's do it. And then the other one was, she said an ad in his ear. She's like, blah, blah, blah lube, only in blah, blah, blah flavor and vanilla. He's like, what'd you say? I don't know what I said. We know what was said. We know what's happening. Keep this shit going. Like Snoop Dogg said, ain't nobody giving up while I'm up in it. There's no way I would have stopped doing what I was doing. If I'm in the mood and she's like, unless you say some other dude's name, then maybe. Maybe. Because what already happened. I need, we both can't be mad.
We'll talk about it after.
We for sure gonna talk about it, but at the moment we're gonna be fine. Now, for this episode, was there a moment in the show or this episode when it was like a peak moment? It was a moment that you remember walking away from, and it was the most memorable moment in this episode.
Honestly, there was a few moments that were really honest. I don't know if it was like every time they had the and another thing and another thing. I feel like every single time they just it was one more thing on top of another. I think that's what really got me every time. Like, especially when she wanted to be pregnant. They're like, "Oh, it's $90 a month." They were paying 800. They wanted a baby that bad. They could have did it. Now, what was I gonna say? There was one more thing I was gonna say, and I keep forgetting. Um, with the husband, he was already doing the OnlyFans thing, the Only Freaks. He could have involved her with it, and then to keep her alive. That's my take. I don't know why they stopped. I guess she wanted him not to do it anymore. But
You're right. I thought that too. Even with the Serenity, I'm like, it sounds, again, we're not trying to get canceled. Okay, YouTube, we're not.
sorry.
What I'm saying is, like, they already had led us to this. Like, if he's doing the OnlyFans-ish type thing, bring her in. The subscribers will pay. You pick Serenity or bring down her pain tolerance, and you pop out her teeth, and you do things, whatever it is. And
That's what
she's
I'm
like,
saying.
it's like you both, at this point, you're basically drug it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They could have made a lot of money, and then she could have had her Rivermind Lux, and with that they could have made even more money. So I feel like I said, every time they had those things going on again and again, it was like, damn, like it's just they just don't stop.
Yeah.
But then towards the end, like I feel like the ending kind of like it could have been a higher rating for me as an episode if the ending was different.
What kind of ending were you looking for?
I don't know.
Because I already said what I was looking for, which would have got me arrested in multiple states.
I would have at least, like I said, I would have. They could have started doing a little OnlyFans together, and then you know, just been influencer couple, making money for her to stay alive or something.
Now, the thing that got me again, we talked about Miss Tracee and just her ability because she's like she was a member too. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's like, I've got it right now. I'm on the founders edition. And she was just like they were
Also,
sitting there, go
when they
for it.
pissed her off and she had to tone it down,
Yes, yes. She's like had
she's
to
like,
switch. She was like, I can't believe it because they literally went off on her because they were like, listen, we've never missed a payment. We've done this, and we've all had moments like that where you're like, I might have missed this rent payment, this cell phone
mm-hmm.
payment, this streaming service payment, and they don't give a like we love all these streaming services and all this. They'll turn that shit the fuck off, and you can call the customer service place, and they're like, yeah, we turned your shit off. Pay and we'll
Mm-hmm.
turn it back on. And they treated her like a fucking cell phone. Like there was one scene, and we saw it happening. They left the area, and
Mm-hmm.
she just turned off. And he
She's
freaked
like,
out,
ah.
and she woke up and she was saying ads, and then she's losing her job because of the ads, like telling little Timmy, you need to go to
Oh
church.
yeah.
My mommy
Oh, you're
said
having
I
to.
can't.
When she started doing the ads, um, what was it? The one about the cereal where she was teaching them about the
Yeah, she
bees,
was like
about the
honey.
honey.
She's like honey oats. Honey oats is hoot and honey is the best thing because hoot and honey's is delicious. Can somebody
And the
tell me?
little
And she
girl.
did it smooth. That she's like, can somebody tell me about hoot and honey? Or no, tell me what do bees give you? Give me something that honey has to do with. And the little kid raises their hand like, I think it's hoot and honey. You can get that. And she's like, why would you say that? And we're all just like the kid, like, bitch, you just said this.
Literally. The first time she said the ad, it was so smooth. I didn't really catch it
Yeah.
until the little girl said something. She's like, huh? I'm like, where did you hear that? And I was like, did she not realize? And then she said it again. And then they're like, huh? And she's like, what? I was like, oh, she doesn't even know she's saying this shit.
She does, and then on top of it, like again, going back to Tracee at the help desk, Tracy's like, "Oh, the ads." Like she doesn't call them ads; she called them something else, and she was like, "Oh, that thing. Oh, we're working on it, so it's more fluent and it comes out." It's like I don't have control of this. Like, no, you don't. And you're seeing that now with social media, or you see, especially on streaming, where all these companies that had no ads are now having ads, and all these companies that had premium now have special premium. Like I'm on premium on some of these streaming services, and they're already kind of telling me, you ain't that special. We got another tier, and it has ads and it has live TV. And I'm like, I didn't want any of that. I just wanted what you originally sold me on. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
like, man, you do this for love. And like I said, they really wanted a kid, and it's like, no, you can't have a kid because the brain waves and I don't know.
Like the whole purpose, like it started off with them wanting to have the kids so bad, and then like nothing ever happened with, you know, like it was so short of a moment. Like, oh, you want to be pregnant? $90 a month, and then it was never mentioned again. Like, they're like, oh, we just want a happy accident. So it's like for me that kind of fell a little short because I'm like they could have at least maybe, and this is very sick, and I might get canceled for saying this, but they should have went with the direction of her trying to get pregnant. They did the subscription for 90 a month,
Mhm.
and then they couldn't afford it, and then to see what would have happened then.
Man, like I said, it was
Like
just rough.
midway,
Uh-huh.
like midway through the pregnancy, it's like, oh, you can't afford the 90
Oh
bucks a month.
no.
They should have did that. That would have been very dark, but sorry, don't cancel me.
That would have been Black Mirror.
Because they really wanted to get pregnant in the beginning. That's how it started off, and then she, went to the coma, and then that I would have liked to see something along those lines to see how they would have handled that too. Like, she's already pregnant. So what are you saying? Is she pregnant with a hybrid computerized AI?
Yeah, that would have been something. I think what they really showed was like that 1 year later where they sell the crib and he's
Mm-hmm.
hoping that the couple is like, fine, someone's gonna have it. It's like, no, we're just gonna burn it for a music video. And it was like, shit, they can't even have just a satisfaction of that someone else is gonna partake and
Mhm.
enjoy what they thought they're gonna have. And I just think sometimes that happens with life. Sometimes you have kids and it derails and it changes stuff, and sometimes not having a child changes and derails stuff. So it was crazy because I could see anybody doing that for a family member, whether experimental drugs or just drugs in general, like
Mhm.
cancer victims, like you said before, it affects the whole family and everyone they have, and it consumes them. And sometimes they're just tired. And when it comes back, they
Yeah.
sit there and they say, you know what, I'm not going through chemo. I'm not going through this again. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
enjoy what I have, and we'll cross that bridge and cross it. So um to watch both characters full of life, and then when you get to
Mhm.
the end and they were just jacked, man. Like
Mhm.
he was sipping his coffee and he was missing teeth, and you're like, this guy's giving everything.
Honestly, I didn't even notice he was missing teeth. I feel like I have to rewatch certain
She
episodes to
looked
like
like a
really
damn
catch little.
person from The Walking Dead. Like her
She looked
hair was just,
destroyed.
and also one of the songs, I can't remember what it was. It was her mom's song. Like not her mom's song in reality, but it was like the choice of songs that they played for her. I just
Mhm.
thought was interesting because it
Mhm.
goes with her musical history and her family history. And so I was just like, man, was that intentional? So I don't know.
Probably.
Watch this attractive couple turn to look like fucking meth heads in about 45 fucking minutes. I was like, not
The
okay.
things you'll do for the
I'm not even
people
gonna
you
say
love.
meth head, just sick. Looking sick. They're going through something. It's a disease, as drugs, is that's a
No, you
disease
said
in its
meth
own.
head.
No, because see, don't bring me in this. The reason why I don't want to say meth head and just sit on that is if some people get sick and they look sick, and
No,
if
no, no, yeah.
if she if she was playing any other role, we would look at it as she's a cancer survivor. We would look at it as alcoholism, dietary
Mhm.
stuff. Like there's different types of sickness, and drug sickness is one as well. And I don't want to just category. I don't want to just put that in a box and say if you look like this, it's because of this. So that's what I'm doing
Mhm.
on that one. But it was. I can't think of a movie. Put it in the comments. But there's got to be a movie where you had to kind of kill somebody that you love with a pillow or something. I can't remember, but I feel like I've seen a movie where someone had to, and they're
I
like,
mean, there's a lot of movies that, we had to, people, especially main characters, had to sacrifice a loved one for, greater goods and all that. So it's not
nah, man.
uncommon, but
Okay,
it's
would okay
it was
would you,
tough.
would you do that to someone you care about just off the glimpse of what they show? Because I'm just maybe it's just me. I couldn't do it. I would have to
I
find something else to do.
It's hard. Like I can't say
I
I would, but also like I can't see people suffer. So, but I don't also want to be the reason why. Like I also don't want to be the reason why. So it's like a very fine line. I hope I don't ever have to like go through those things, knock on wood.
like, but it's crazy
But
because they wouldn't. And that's the other thing that was scary about this episode. It was unlike your service where you can just turn off whatever streaming service and you just don't watch that show, you know, your life
mhm,
continues. You find something to place that time with.
yeah.
Once she started this program, she couldn't turn it off. Like
Yeah.
they literally were saying, no, if you turn it off, she's dead. And it's like, can you think of anything? Obviously, there's stuff in medical, but you really can't.
Mhm.
We can't connect to it unless you have a loved one that's gone through it or we've gone through it. But we can't
Mhm.
connect to the idea of you pass away and you don't function because you didn't turn on these two streaming services before the season premiere of whatever show. You just move on. And so the
Yeah.
thing is, like, you couldn't stop doing it, even if you wanted to.
And like the ads, like when she had to go all the way down to the first tier, like or even to maintain the standard tier. Like she was going through it. Like she was like, I don't want to go through the ads. I don't want to do this. I
Which
don't
I
want
felt
to.
made the man in the character almost like your job as a man is to provide for your family and take care of everything. So he's got to go ahead and pay this. And he's got, like, when he got fired, which was a wild scene to begin with, when he gets
Hmm.
fired, you're watching her try to be supportive, yet she's like, but what about me? What about
She
my?
can't do anything though.
But she still said it, and it's crazy because like I've been in a situation where I've been fired before. And so you're
Mhm.
looking for support for your person to be like, all right, what's next? Let's do this.
Mhm.
And that's what you get. But in this situation, you didn't get that. That scene was crazy because she did it for a little bit and then she switched to, but what about the subscriptions? I can't
Mhm.
go back to ads again. How are you gonna get the hours? What are we gonna do? I can't teach because I can't do ads.
Mhm.
So you're like, so
Yeah.
I don't know. With that being said, this is the longest review reaction that we've done, and the best way I can say um, for us to know if we're doing something right is let us know in the comments. I invite you to check us out for 3 minutes, and after 3 minutes, let us know in the comments. What do you think? And with that being said, let's go ahead and rate this thing. Ratings go from 0 to 5. We're gonna rate this episode for what it is. It is only one episode, Common People. It's on Netflix, 7th season of Black Mirror, and we may come back with other episodes. What episode do you want us to do next? 5 being excellent, 0 being horrible. What is your rating, Mayte?
I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay, gonna give it a 4. Okay. I would say I would give it a 4 as well. I think it's really strong. I really wanted to give it a 5.
Yeah,
Um,
me
I
too.
I think watching it again, I could see myself giving it a 5 if I continue. This might be one that I watch the other ones and come back and say, I didn't know how good this was. This could honestly, I'm just saying that this could probably be the best one in the series for me so far.
Um, I definitely top 3. I think.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think.
to me
Yeah.
this is going to be hard to top because it was something I can connect to, I can relate to, and with subscriptions happening now the way they are in healthcare, what it is, I just felt like a common person. We're all a common person, and we look at a medical bill like they charge me what the for this. So
Mhm.
yeah. So with that being said, you could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here. I greatly appreciate that. I'm the Dad Panther variety streamer, content creator, master of none. This is my day. See you later. Or kalika. when, when you
You're like,
waved, because when you waved, it threw me off.
I'm
It threw me
sorry.
off. So I
It
waved
was a
back.
pause.
And when you waved,
Mayte.
I was like, it just made me want to wave. It is
You
what it
should have
is. We
waved.
should have waved. Should have waved next time I wave.